All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another NBA regular season video. In this video, this is going to serve as sort of a weekend wrap up from this past weekend. We're going to talk about some big performances for some big time players, some unexpected places as well. And we're going to do some injury updates. We're going to do some other updates. We're going to talk about the performances these guys had, the guys in front of you, Austin Reeves, LaMelo Ball, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jalen Harper, and if the team needs them to do this going forward, is this an apparition? Um, is this the start of something new for some of these guys? We'll talk about all of it. If you like what I have to say, like the video. If you have your own opinions, comment it down below. And if you like the vibes, consider subscribing. So we're gonna jump right into this. I'm gonna try to keep this short since um, did not get any videos this weekend. I want to post this little quick one for you guys. Talk about some really big games. We have some big performances. Like I said, these four guys in front of you also have some other performances. Um, there's some there's there's some interesting ones in here. There's some interesting ones I have pulled up, but we'll get to those later. The first game I want to talk about, and the first performance I want to talk about is performance from Giannis Antetokounmpo, a 40-point game in a loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers, 118 to the Bucks, 113. And this game was sort of a microcosm of what Giannis needs to do almost every night for this team to be somewhat competitive. And this serves as a really good example of the kind of player Giannis is as well, is that he doesn't mind doing it all. He shouldn't be asked to do it all, in my opinion, but he doesn't mind doing it all. I think people are starting to realize that what Giannis does, especially what he's done over the last couple years, or this last 2 years in particular, is that he's just gone out there and he's hooped, and it's become so normal for him to have these really big performances. And I'm not even talking about the 40 point game, like 35 points, like 15 rebounds, 10 assists, two blocks, two steals is just normal for him. But like that's like superstar stat line, you know. It's really good. That's what Victor's doing at his young age, you know. And Giannis is still doing that as a little bit older of an age, you know, right in the middle of his prime, I'd say for Giannis, dead smack in the middle of his prime, and Giannis doesn't get a lot of praise for that. And I saw something and it was like the NBA like official Instagram account didn't even post any of the highlights, didn't even do anything about it, you know, didn't even show it off. And I think we're just so desensitized to what Giannis does and what Giannis did last night: 40 points, two blocks, two steals, only two turnovers, one personal foul, 9 assists, 14 rebounds, 11 of 16 from free throw, 1 of 1 from three, and 14 of 20 overall from field goal. Um, the other guy who was helping him out here, AJ Green with 20, Ryan Rollins, former Warrior, 14, Miles Turner, 13, 6 rebounds. Come on, Miles. Um, Bobby Portis, 10 points. And nobody else really showed up. um, for full transparency, I did not watch these games live. I watched a lot of the highlights. I watched all the highlights for these games. And the biggest thing that stuck out to me when watching the highlights, especially, was oh my God, Giannis is doing everything. He's doing it defensively, he's doing it offensively. Some of the blocks he had were really good. Some of the rebounds and the putbacks he had were like monstrous. They were really good, and it was over like guys like DeAndre Hunter for the Cavs, Evan Mobley, Defensive Player of the Year last year, Jared Allen. Like he was bullying these guys who were like known as defenders and known as like rim protectors, and he was just going to work. Um, the biggest thing, the absolute biggest thing for Giannis that stuck out to me was his passing was absolutely insane. I don't think I've seen Giannis pass as good ever. Like the, the things, the passes Giannis were making. I encourage you to just go watch the highlights if you're interested at all. But the passes was making were incredible. And this is where I do have to give a little credit to Doc Rivers here, because Doc Rivers and the rest of the team were just standing right where they needed to be, just like literally right where they needed to be. Like Miles Turner would go to the corner. Ryan Rollins would cut right at the right time. Um, AJ Green would be at the top of the 3 point line, be in the corner, be by the hash, and Giannis would just throw these dimes. Like there was one that he was literally going to the basket and he threw it behind his back, and I forget who it was in the corner, but they were in the corner. They knocked the shot down. I was like, oh my God, this is actually really good. Um, This was an attempted comeback win for the Bucks. They did not make the full comeback, like I said, 113 to 118, but they had the Cavs sweating. They had the Cavs sweating. The Cavs were like, you could tell by the way they were playing, the demoralizing blocks that Giannis had. It was really good stuff for Giannis, and it's a bit unfortunate because again, Giannis is gonna have to, not the 40 points, but Giannis is gonna have to do something similar to this every single night if this team wants to be somewhat competitive. And I think in my preseason preview, I did not have them competitive at all. I was just so out on them. I This is exactly what I said. This was a lot of people said was Giannis is going to need to have big games, big game after big game after big game after big game. If he goes out, knock on wood, if he doesn't have a good game, this team is going to sink. I like Miles Turner a lot, but I don't know. And the starting lineup doesn't scream top team in the East to me. I mean, you got Gary Trent Jr. in here. You got Ryan Rollins. I mean, I like the bench a little bit. Torian Prince, Bobby Portis, Jericho Sims is okay, but I don't want to dive too deep into this team. I just want to talk about the performance from Giannis because it was eye popping and it was really special. And it's crazy how like people always say, oh, I add something new to my game every off season. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 30 years old, by the way. So yeah, right, maybe in the middle, toward maybe again towards the end of his prime. We'll see. But people was like, oh, I had something in my game this off season. And Giannis, I don't think Giannis has added anything. He's just gotten smarter, and he knows where he needs to be. He just asks that his teammates be where they need to be, and he's gonna go 150% every game. And he looks as athletic as ever. He looks as lengthy as ever. Every time I see this guy, and he steals the ball, he just pushes it. He gets down the floor like 2 3 steps, those long strides, and then he just in the paint. He didn't even have a lot of crazy dunks in stride. He had a lot of like athletic long layups, and it was super impressive from Giannis. And just want to shout that game out from Giannis. The next game, we get to talk about well, we get to talk about the Hornets versus somebody, the Hornets versus the Wizards. I had to pull it back up. I think I closed it by accident. The Hornets versus the Wizards. This might be the only time we talk about the Wizards or the Hornets. The Wizards are coming up later again, but this might be the only time we talk about the Hornets. So I'm going to use this moment to talk about them and talk about LaMelo Ball, bottom left of your screen, Giannis, middle left of your screen. If you know, you know. Um, this was a crazy game from LaMelo. 38 points, three steals, 13 assists, 13 rebounds, uh, 4 turnovers, 3 personal fouls, not great. 5 of 12 from three, 13 of 25. Um, this was a really good game, and I know it's against like the lowly Wizards and all that, but I think these teams are in sort of the same like tier of team, and I think this is a really good performance from Lamelo, and I think it's a very interesting performance for a lot of reasons because LaMelo has a lot of weapons now. There's a lot of weapons on this team, and I was very skeptical of this team. I'm not the biggest fan of the roster construction, um, but it might just work out for LaMelo. There might just be enough tools here to be a competitive play-in ish team. Um, I'm not I'm not completely sold on they're going to keep this team together for the whole season. There might be some mid-season jockeying for different players, and like you might sell off a guy like Miles Plumlee or Mason Plumlee, Colin Sexton, Pat Connaughton's on this team. I forgot Pat Connaughton was on this team. Um, for some more assets, depending on where you are coming down the stretch of the end of the season, but for Lamelo, I like this game from him for a lot of reasons because I think he looked like there was enough fun. Lamelo's all about fun. That's his mo, his modus operandi. He wants to have fun out there, and sometimes that fun doesn't include winning. This was a win for them, by the way. 139 to the Wizards 113. A comeback win for them as well for the Hornets. Um, but the game looks like it's slowed down for him, and I think that's the difference in being just an assist guy and being a floor general. Because a lot of guys they'll just get you assists. They'll get you 13 assists like nothing. But there's a moment in which you turn the switch and you become a floor general and you become a guy who makes the pass to the pass to the other pass for the three. There's a time where you're going down the court, you throw it ahead, and then you're sprinting and they throw it back to you, and then you throw it in the corner and the other guy makes a three. And those are the things that LaMelo showcased in this game. And the four turnovers aren't great. I'll excuse it though. Um, but I genuinely like the way he was operating this game and operating this team. And I think him being, well, Brandon Miller didn't play this game. Him being the only guy out there really, um, with some like juice left in him, like is I don't think he cares that he's like a Charlotte Hornet, because like being a Charlotte Hornet is like being in purgatory. I don't think he cares about being a Charlotte Hornet. He just wants to go out there and have fun, and that's a good mindset and a bad mindset depending on the kind of guard you like. And I was very hard on LaMelo last year. It was last year during All Star break of like why he wasn't in the All Star game, why he was an All Star, this and that and the third. But I think if he continues like this and he can do it against better quality teams, I think that's a really good sign for what this team is in the future. Um, there's some life left in this team, just enough. Um, is Miles Bridges ever going to be anything more than what he is? Probably not. He's at his ceiling. Um, Concanupo looked really good this game as well. 20 points for him. Not 5 of 9 from three, 7 of 12 overall from field goal. He looked really good. He looks like a great running mate, a good additive, a good accessory to LaMelo Ball's what's it called? Wildness. And there's a lot of other guys on this team that I like. Musa, I believe is how you say it. Diabate, 12 points. He looked good. He looks like he's a good, I want to say replacement for what Mark Williams should have been, but Diabate looks good. Um, there's a bunch of other stuff on this team that I'm looking at. I'm like, oh, I don't know about that, but I think this is a gap year. But if this is a gap year and Lamelo's around professionals like Colin Sexton, like Mason Plumlee, like Pat Connaughton, who I'm not gonna necessarily say can talk to him and like show him how to actually win because I don't think any of these guys have won at a high level. Um, but it might be enough to just say, hey, this is what other pro players do. This is what we do every day. This is how we operate. Take a lesson out of that, because having Miles Bridges as your vet isn't great, um, and having other young guys, a young guy team isn't really the best way to go. But LaMelo, 38 points, controlling the whole game, had some really great rebounds, like surprisingly really good rebounds. And I couldn't really see anything wrong with the game besides when I look at the percentages and the field goal percentages that it was a bad game. So shout out to LaMelo. Next game, the biggest one, the biggest in the business right now. um, Lakers versus Sacramento. The Lakers won this game 127 to the Sacramento Kings 120. And this game came after the news. This was some devastating news. Devastating. Um, see if I can get the full report here for you guys. This came after the news that Lakers Luka Doncic is out for at least 1 week with a left finger sprain and a lower left leg contusion. So this was after um, that news came out. So no LeBron, no Luka this game. It was DeAndre Ayton, Austin Reeves. DeAndre Ayton also had a good game. DeAndre Ayton, Austin Reeves, and the guys. And you would think, oh boy, this is about to be really interesting. The Kings might actually look like an NBA team for once. And they did for about maybe a half. and then Austin Reeves had like 30 at halftime, or 30, yeah, 30, like 30 at half, close to 30 at halftime. They're like, okay, this might be something. And then Austin Reeves ends the game with 51. Austin Reeves, right hand side of your screen. Um, he ends the game with 51. And I was watching these highlights, and I was trying to think, oh, who is this? Who does this remind me of? Who's he? Who's this game remind me of? Like, I couldn't really put my finger on it. And then as I hit record to record this video, I was like, this is gonna sound blasphemous. This is gonna sound crazy. But Austin Reeves' game reminds me of like a young Devin Booker's game. And the trajectory that Devin Booker went on versus like the trajectory Austin Reeves is on right now is so different. But Austin Reeves is that kind of guy. Like you, you, you didn't think much about him when he came in, and he does a couple good things. He's on maybe like a couple bad teams, couple good teams. Obviously, Devin Booker's gone to the finals and he's had a whole separate career in playing for Team USA, and he's been really good for Team USA. And Austin Reeves really hasn't had that opportunity because he's had to play behind so many guys throughout his career. I mean, I could make a whole video about the guys that Austin Reeves has had play behind in his time in LA. But to go from that to one night, it's going to be a couple nights here. Probably not going to be able to duplicate, but one night, right? One night, Austin Reeves looks like a franchise guy. And there was a lot of talk this offseason, this past offseason, about, oh, should they pay Austin Reeves? Should they trade him? Should they do this? Should they do that? And I don't know where I fall. I don't know how to feel about Austin Reeves because I don't think this is Austin Reeves. I genuinely don't. That might sound bad, but I don't think this is Austin Reeves. I think Austin Reeves, like I said about the previous teams and the previous players, sometimes it's just an additive player. But when you think about this team long term, and you think about, I don't think any of these guys are going to be on this team in 5 years, right? Except one person. Well, two people. Let me redact that. Well, two people. Two people are going to be on this team in 5 years. This is just a thought I had. It might be Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic. That might be the only two people on this team in 5 years. And if that's my backcourt, both are god awful defenders sometimes. Austin Reeves has improved tremendously. I mean, he had 2 steals last night, but he's improved tremendously. I think it's just the game on the defensive end slowing down for him, and his ability to just sacrifice his body, his ability to get those lane pickoffs where he just picks it off in the lane. Um, really good stuff. But one-on-one defender, Austin Reeves isn't the greatest, but I think as a team defender, Austin Reeves is above average. Um, and if my backcourt is Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, and I both know, I know both of these guys can drop 50 points any given night. I like my chances. I really do. And like I said, DeAndre had a good game. 22 points, 15 rebounds, one block, one steal. Nothing crazy. Rui Hachimura had 18 points. A lot of those were off passes of Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves, by the way, nine assists, almost a triple double. Um, it sounds crazy because he doesn't get a chance to handle the ball like that a lot. He does get the chance when LeBron's not on the floor. Obviously, now that the arrival of Luka's going to have the ball in his hands a lot, maybe even more so than LeBron. But Austin Reeves' playmaking is so freaking good, and in small sample size, you look at it and say, "Oh, he's a decent little playmaker." Like, "Oh, cool." He makes the extra pass. This and that. Makes a good dive to the basket and then tosses it out. He had some really like floor generally like savvy passes to guys like DeAndre and guys like Rui Hachimura, guys like Jared Vanderbilt. Really incredible stuff from Austin Reeves. And Austin Reeves, um, I don't know if he's going to get paid a lot of money. I don't know if the Lakers want to pay him. I don't even know if the Lakers are in the situation to pay him, because paying him would simultaneously be like, well, we don't need LeBron because we have the future. We have the now and the future with Luka and Austin Reeves. We probably, maybe depending how the season shakes out, keep DeAndre not on an extended contract, but maybe a couple more years till somebody else comes available. Those people being like Jokic, Giannis, etc. You know, the guys Lakers fans want. Um, Austin Reeves might have just secured himself a really good contract. And I'm not saying he didn't deserve it before this game. I'm not saying he's guaranteed it after this game, but it was very promising. And if you can get a tenth of this Austin Reeves, if he's only a 25-point scorer for the rest of his career, I want that guy next to Luka Doncic because when I saw Luka Doncic and Kyrie, and I'm not saying Austin Reeves is anywhere near the player Kyrie is, but to be a versatile scorer like Austin Reeves is, and you can look at the small sample size you had with Luka Doncic and Kyrie in Dallas, you can sort of see it in your mind. If you squint and you just like blur your eyes a little bit, you can see that with Austin Reeves and Luka. And I think that's the key. That's the thing you need to really think about. Um, we're not going to talk about LeBron. There's been no update on LeBron. He's probably going to be out for a long time, like I said, like has been reported. But man, man, oh man. Austin Reeves might have just secured himself as a lifelong Laker. We'll see if the Lakers can get it done. Moving on, some quick hits here at the end. Do want to talk about rookie Dylan Harper. 20-point game last night. First 20-point game for him in his young NBA career. Has only played 3 games thus far. First game at home. Drops 20 points, 8 assists, 2 steals, no turnovers, 4 personal fouls. Not great. Did not take a single three. 8 of 11 from field goal. Really good stuff. Looks confident, looks sharp. I wasn't a huge fan of him and Ace Bailey at Rutgers in college, but to see him do this at the next level is really good. And I have no notes about it because I want to say it was a docile game from him, but it was eye opening for a rookie, for a guy who we weren't really sure if he could do it at this level. He looked confident going to the bucket at least, and that's one of the first steps is getting confident with one facet of your game. So shout out Dylan Harper. Also, Victor Wembanyama had a good game, but it wasn't on good percentages. So um, we'll see what happens there. Um, I want to do some quick hits here at the end. I do want to shout out. I want to give another shout out here. Where is he? Oh, Keyshawn George for the Wizards. I told you the Wizards would come up later. Dropped 34 points on the Mavericks' head. Just randomly. Just, oh yeah, 30. Yeah, I dropped 34 points. 5 turnovers, 5 personal fouls. Not great. 11 rebounds, but man, was he on fire. 7 from 9 from three, 11 from 15. Insane. Keyshawn George, shout out Keyshawn George, man. I was not familiar with the game, so I apologize. Um, Lastly, here, the last couple things here, we do have some other news, some other injury news that came out this morning. Um, Minnesota Timberwolves star Anthony Edwards will miss at least 2 weeks with a right hamstring strain, sources tell ESPN and Shams Charania. Um, it is a huge blow. Um, is it what's his name? What's his name? The guy on the what's his name? They buried him on the bench. What the hell is his name? What's his name? Jeez, I forgot his name. Something something something. The guy. I sound like such a bad. I sound like such a bad YouTuber right now. Jesus. Rob Dillingham. Yeah, that guy. Is it Rob Dillingham time? Jeez, I can't remember his name. Wow, that was bad. I apologize. Is it Robert Dillingham time? Maybe. Um, is it Julius Randle time? I know they play somebody. I know they have a game on Wednesday. That one's coming up, but they have a game tonight as well. Yeah, they play Denver tonight. It's in Minnesota, but they play Denver tonight. I don't know about that. Aaron Gordon versus Julius Randle, Nikola Jokic versus Rudy Gobert, Robert Dillingham versus or what's his name? The other guy, yeah, versus Jamal Murray. Yeah, we'll see. That's gonna be interesting. That might be a turn off at halftime game, or that might be a really good one. We'll see. So yeah, Anthony Edwards out. Sorry to hear that. You know, two really good players in the West, Luca and Anthony Edwards out for the at least a week for Luca and 2 weeks for Ant. But the hamstrings are tricky, man. Hamstrings are Very, very tricky, especially for an athletic guy like Ant. That's gonna be very tricky. Um, the other thing I want to talk about real quickly is the Miami Heat. Um, Miami Heat surprisingly really good, or at least really competitive to start the season. Um, 2-1. They beat the Knicks the other night, 115 to the Knicks 107. That was not on my bingo card. And they've been doing it with the pick and roll. And there's a number here. There's a crazy number here that I'm going to steal from a post I'm about to read. Miami's offense has been super interesting. They've run an average of 22 on-ball picks uh, per 100 possessions over the first three games. For context, the 76ers set the 37.9 per 100 possessions in 2018-2019, the fewest of any season in the tracking era. Miami is also leading the NBA in pace. So they're just running people out of the gym. They are running people out of the gym. And they're just doing it not even by committee because they're not even doing any pick and rolls. They're just saying, hey, go to work. In this game, the win against the Knicks, no Tyler Hero. Also, this is a huge no Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero didn't play this game. He's like their guy when it comes to scoring. 29 points for Norman Powell, 19 for Bam Adebayo, um, 14 for Simone Fontecchio, Jaime Jaquez Jr., um, Triple J, 17 points, and they're just going to work, going to work. Um, and yeah, that's it for the NBA games here. I do want to talk about a an update from the little scandal. I shouldn't say little scandal. The scandal that the NBA is embroiled in right now with the betting and Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier and all that. Um, This was reported by Shams Charania, ESPN's Shams Charania. The NBA informed its 30 teams that the league has begun the process of reviewing policies regarding injury reporting, training, and education of all personnel, and enhancing internal and external monitoring programs to identify betting activities of concern, per memo obtained by ESPN. Um, in the NBA's memo to its teams, while the unusual betting of um, Terry Rozier's unders in March of 2023, the game was detected in real time because of the bets were placed legally. We believe there is more that can be done for a legal and regulatory perspective to protect the integrity of the NBA and our affiliate leagues, in particular, proposition bets on individuals' player performances involving heightened integrity concerns and required additional scrutiny. Yeah, that's a mouthful. There's a whole memo too that I will not read here, but the memo is like 2 paragraphs long. Um, I'll read the bottom part here. We are also exploring ways to enhance our existing internal integrity monitoring programs by utilizing the dreaded word AI. Lovely. And other tools to synthesize all available data from betting operators, social media, and other sources to identify betting activities of concern. So, yeah, and apparently the, the Adam Silver is gonna have to like not testify, but like have like a full report and do it in front of Congress or something crazy like that. So we'll see if that actually happens. But yeah, that's an update on the Terry Rozier, uh, Chauncey Billups thing. The NBA. Sheesh, it's been a while, a couple weeks, and hopefully there's nothing else that comes out like this. Cause man, there's a lot of things that could happen. But yeah, anyway, bit of a shorter video. Thanks for watching. Thank you for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I will see you guys maybe tomorrow. Definitely Wednesday. Maybe tomorrow. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.